quote by a woman named Nicole Lyons that says, "The deepest pain I have ever felt was denying my own feelings to make everyone else comfortable." That was her mistake. And sadly, it was mine too. And it might even be yours. Today, I'm going to be talking about feelings. So I figured that I would start by telling you that my heart is beating very fast and I'm feeling extremely nervous right now. And actually, right there, what I just said is a prime example of what I'll be sharing with you today. Releasing and expressing the emotions that you feel. You see, a large amount of the toddlers, children, teenagers, adults, and even the elderlies that form part of our population make one of the biggest mistakes, in my opinion, in the modern day world. And that's keeping things in. If you noticed, I didn't mention babies in that list of people because often when babies are tired, they'll cry. When they're hungry, they'll cry. When they're frustrated because their diaper is full, they'll cry. And when their parents try to convince them that the green food is actually the good food, they will most definitely cry. Now don't get me wrong, I didn't come here to tell all of you that you should just cry in every situation that you face. But often we forget that it is an option. I'm just about finishing middle school, as most of you might know, and I've noticed a recurring pattern from the teenagers that surround me every day. There's a pattern of fear and pressure. There is the fear to explain exactly how they're feeling because the possibility of being judged for it by others circles their minds constantly. Then there's the sense of pressure to act stronger than they really are and to pretend they're okay. And to me that sounds like a major issue. Now I'm not just basing all of this off of an observation that I once made at school. I'm basing this off of my own personal experience. When I was 4 years old, my best friend called Tegan passed away in a car crash. But I didn't know. I spent my days playing with her in my imagination, thinking she was on holiday in Australia, but that she would be back soon. However, nearing my 6th birthday, my parents decided it was time to come clean to me about their lie. And they confessed I wouldn't ever be able to see Tegan again. As you can imagine, that was a lot for me to take in. It was my first experience with death, and although they meant absolutely no harm whatsoever, it was a lie from my own parents. So yeah, I felt frustrated. I felt sad. I felt broken. I remember on that day, my heart felt so heavy, my throat went dry, and my eyes were just about ready to water. But I tried to hide it. 6-year-old me decided to prove to her parents that she was a big girl who could handle the most painful thing that she had heard at the time. So what I did was I picked up the skipping rope that I was playing with, told my parents everything was okay, I kind of shrugged it off, and I walked away. But the thing is, as I walked away, everything around me went black. I felt like I was asleep. I just froze for about 10 seconds. I experienced my first minor seizure that doctors later diagnosed as epilepsy due to an emotional trauma. The doctors informed my parents that they would occur often, but they'd be gone within 3 years. And that was correct, because on my 9th birthday, everything was perfect. I was jumping up and down of happiness, I was singing songs, I was baking cakes with my best friends. I hadn't felt an epilepsy in weeks. But before I knew it, I was leaving my cupcake to the side, and I was running with my sister to go find an ambulance. My dad passed away on that very day due to a heart attack. Before I knew it, my family from London, the United States, and Canada were all flying over at once. I didn't have a second to breathe. I smiled. I barely even cried. Even though I felt so lost, I felt so broken. I felt like the world was against me. But again, I tried to hide it from my family, from everyone actually. I tried to pretend that it was just my birthday, I was still happy, when actually I wasn't. I needed the time to grieve. But I didn't take it. Before I knew it, my epilepsies were back, even worse than before. And because of them, I felt like I missed half my own dad's funeral because I was blacking out so often. All because I didn't cry when I should have. Although I can state to you right now that I was in intense emotional pain, I couldn't do that back then. And it really, really messed with me. Now, I'm not saying to everyone that if you don't cry when you want to, you're going to be diagnosed with epilepsies. It's very unlikely. But I strongly, strongly believe that the more you hide in your pain, it will only ever bring you more. So if you're angry at your boss, let's say, then you should confront him. Or if you're in love with this girl in your chemistry class, then you should let her know. Or if you're extremely happy because you passed an exam in maths that you thought you would never pass, then show it off to everyone. Jump up and down of happiness. Don't listen to what anyone else has to say. Or even if you're on the other extreme and you're sad because, I don't know, issues at home, a fight with your best friend. Take a minute to cry. Find some help. Feelings are only temporary. They're not meant to be left inside of you just because you felt obliged to not express yourself. On a happier note, in the past few years, I have worked extremely, extremely, extremely hard to leave the never-ending cycle of clogging in my emotions. And let me tell you that in the past few years, I have grown more than I possibly could have ever imagined. Every time I feel something negative or even positive, I allow myself to do what's needed to make sure that it's all released. And I will forever recommend that you do the same. You need to do it. You need to start letting go. Now, I think I should end this by saying that I feel really relieved now and really happy and really grateful that I got to share my story with you and advice. Thank you.